or a transfusion rather. And she opened her eyes real slow, and she said, "How's your knee?" And it crushed me. It shows you what kind of person she is. But my whole life I had complained about everything that was wrong with me and everything that I wanted. And I never stopped to be thankful. Thank the Lord that I'm walking out of Roswell today on my own 2 feet. And there's 1,500 people behind me that might never come home.
Right.
And so I think that was the first domino that, like, I started finding gratitude. And gratitude was key for me because it changed my whole perspective,
So in the next 10 minutes, we got to find this turning point.
So,
where was the turning point?
The turning point really was, honestly, my wife was putting my socks and shoes on me.
Wow.
And I said, I'm next. I'm not going to be here next year.
Wow.
So my turning point was to try to put space between funerals so she wouldn't have to go through all this pain for the third time.
Right. Wow. Well, that's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge, I went to go get signed up for bariatric surgery, and I was so sick I was denied. My blood pressure that day was 255 over 115. My heart rate was 125. Cholesterol was always over 300. My doctor wouldn't do it. So I did what I think most people do, start cutting calories. And I couldn't do much activity, but long story short, I don't believe in coincidence, but I believe it was divine intervention that led me to this film called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I had no clue what the film was about. I just knew it described me. I clicked play, and it's a story about a guy that juices vegetable and fruit juice for 60 days, changes his life. So New Year's was coming. In fact, it was 6 years ago, in a month. And I started a 30-day juice fast. And then from there, my Netflix queue, Forks Over Knives, came up. And I tell people that Forks Over Knives didn't just save my life, it gave me a completely new one. The better I ate, the less inflammation. So I haven't eaten animal products in almost 6 years. So, I couldn't believe by day 5, what I felt like. And slowly but
just
surely,
5 days.
5 days. It was unbelievable change in 5 days.
And that was after the juicing for a month? That you did 5 days, or 5 days into the juicing?
5 days into the juice fast. I get goosebumps every time I tell this story. I woke up in the same place that I went to bed, and then I don't remember when it happened the last time. And
then what does that mean? So in other words, prior to that time, you'd go to sleep and then
I could never sleep.
You could never sleep.
And the more drugs I would take, the worse it was. I could never make it through the night. Nights were so bad for me.
So your story really is, it's about weight. It's also about addiction. It's about recognizing the fact that a life is precious. And it's a story about gratitude.
It is.
And also loving your family, loving your wife. And I think that those are really important pieces because there are root causes to why, in my view, and I'm not a doctor, I just play one on the radio, but I think that there are real reasons why people suffer with being overweight or in addictions, and they are usually not what you see.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And everybody wants the weight loss, but I just wrote a post yesterday that learning how to love myself was probably the hardest thing out of any. I've run ultra marathons, so I went from almost a wheelchair to running 50-mile races.
Wow.
And doing Ironman, and still the hardest thing I've ever had to do or overcome wasn't fentanyl addiction. It was learning to look in the mirror and love myself enough to know that I matter, and that causes change. That you care enough.
It reminds me of a thing that I say, that the muscle that you need to exercise the most in order to lose weight or to change your life is the one above your shoulders.
For real.
Right?
Yeah.
We got to get in that head and figure out what the heck is going on.
And you know what my favorite part about that is? Anybody can do it.
Yes.
And because everyone say, I wish I had your willpower. Willpower doesn't take you to 400 pounds and addicted to everything you can get addicted to. It's not about willpower. It really isn't, because willpower is just this vicious cycle, right? Getting educated on what good food is. Food is medicine, and we need to eat the food that was designed for us.
I was looking at one of your blogs or something, and I saw a picture of you hugging all of this. I don't know whether it was kale or it was a leafy green. It's a great photo of you just like hugging this like huge, enormous bunch of leafy greens. And so talk about your new love affair with plants and vegetables.
Yeah, because I see food totally differently now. Like, I tell people I'm a selfish eater. What can I get out of this? And I think that's important. It's not just an escape anymore. It's like, how can this heal? In fact, on my way home, I'm going to go pick up some turmeric root because I know I'm going in for surgery tomorrow, and that's my medicine.
Right.
I don't have to go to the pharmacy.
Right. Right.
And
So what does turmeric do?
turmeric is a really good anti-inflammatory. And so I'm going to need it because
Yes.
I'm having surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment or your greatest outcome as a result of losing and shedding your half of yourself?
That's a loaded question. You know what? I guess, I don't know if it's accomplishment, but the best thing that's happened to me is I used to go to bed at night and I really wondered if I would wake up to see the next day. And I had a family that loved me and I had a lot going for me, but I don't really know if I cared if I woke up. And now I get up, I can't wait to get out of bed. I get up before 5 every morning because I can't wait to get out of bed to see what the day brings. And as far as change goes, that to me is the coolest thing ever,
Yeah. So has it affected your teaching and your
Absolutely.
world?
Every aspect of my life is better.
Yeah. So do you find yourself motivating young people as well in this space, or?
Sure. In fact, every student at Williamsville North hears my story. They get a 40-minute lesson on nutrition. They all watch Forks Over Knives for their health class. So I'm a guest speaker, like
from another class in the same building,
right? Which is great. Administration's been great about it. And then on top of that, I do a 40-minute lesson on addiction, and a lot of social stuff too with that, with social media and stuff. And then we also do some challenges for the teachers. I just had a teacher come down today saying that my whole life has changed from this.
Sweet.
So she was actually going to retire. She had arthritis. And she pulled her retirement papers, so she feels so good.
That is a great
From
story.
15 days, 15-day challenge we put out.
Wow.
So,
So I love this. And I know people are probably thinking, well, how could they learn more about what you're doing and how could they be in touch with you? And I know you've got some social media out there. Why don't you share that information with the listening audience?
So yeah, I set up a Facebook page called Fat Man Rants, and that's also my website as well, so they can find me there, or just Tim Kaufman on Facebook. But it's growing. We have a meetup group that we have at a church the first Saturday of every month.
What church is that?
In Mill Grove Bible Church. It's out on Genesee Street. I want to say Alden, but people think it's so far away, but it's only 9 miles from Eastern Hills Mall.
Okay.
And it started with like 4 or 5 people, and we're up to over 100 now, so it's super exciting.
And when do you guys meet?
The first Saturday of every month, and we meet at 11:30.
And you said Millgrove
Right.
Church
Mill Grove Church.
on Genesee,
On Genesee.
9 minutes from the Eastern Hills
Yeah.
Mall.
And that stuff's all on my page. I post events too.
And you said Fat Man Rants.
Correct, because...
So it's FATMANRANTS.
Correct, all one word.
All one word.
And the reason for that is my website, the title is The Rantings of a Former Fat Man.
Yeah.
So,
And that's you.
yeah.
So about how many pounds would you say? So you said you don't really know where you started. You were well over 40.
Mm-hmm.
Well over 400 pounds. That's what the doctor said.
Right.
And now you're at, may I ask?
So depending on what I'm training for, I go from about 205 to 215. If I'm
Wow.
weight training, I'm a little bit heavier. And when I'm running ultras, I'm a little bit lighter. But so conservatively, we can say 200. But you want to know something?
What's that?
It doesn't matter.
It's not the size.
Because-
it's not the actual number.
Right, and it's not even the weight. First of all, people get healthy, the weight will find its plateau. But more than that, it doesn't matter if you're trying to get healthy, lose 20 pounds or 500.
Right.
It's the same process.
Right,
It's
right.
getting educated on what real food is. And everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is that you can be skinny and unhealthy.
Absolutely. I have a lot of marathon friends like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so as parting words, what might be something that you want to say to the listening audience about, perhaps they think, maybe they're even thinking like you were thinking, my life's not that important. Maybe I won't wake up tomorrow, and who cares? So what would you like to say to the listening audience and sort of your final comments?
So for that type of situation, it sounds a little weird, but you have to face that. And even if you have to fake it till you make it, you gotta find the good in things. And I had spent my whole life just concentrating on the bad, but there's always something good about yourself, and you need to focus on the good. And it'll kind of take the bad out of focus, for a while. So sometimes you gotta fake it. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself, even if you're not feeling it. And in time, it's like anything, with persistence and work, it'll happen. And then the other thing I think people kind of get a little hung up on is they look down the road too much. Like, it's great to have a goal to lose 100 pounds, but what's going to get you there is the next plate of food, that next decision. And life isn't perfect. If you screw up, get right back.
Right.
And it's still the only meal that matters is your next one, your next decision.
Right.
And let the future will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And lastly, I'll say one more thing, that anybody can do this. It's out there for anyone. There's nothing special about me, I just learned, that I wasn't, every food that I was eating was hurting me, and anybody can do this. If I can do it, seriously, anyone can do it.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about your story. You're just a regular person. You're a teacher in a public school, and you have a family, you have a wife and children, and so it really makes it real. The story is real. And the other thing I wanted to say is sort of some of my parting thoughts were that people think that if you eat plant-based, you're not gonna be able to keep weight on your body, and you clearly are not, a thin mint,
Right, and I also have a 500-pound deadlift as a runner.
Right, and you're strong, right?
Yeah, so I don't have like protein problems. I don't count calories. I don't count macros. I don't do any of that. I just eat real food.
Yeah.
Rice, beans, a lot of vegetables, but lentils, all that kind of stuff. It's good food, and the best part about it is so cheap.
Yeah.
I eat like a peasant.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest food for brown rice.
Yeah. So that's another thing that people think, well, if I eat plant-based, it's too expensive. So you just, blew that myth up, right?
Right.
So, just the idea that this is really about some simple steps. And I love that you said it's about the very next meal that you have. Mm-hmm. And that, just love yourself. I think that those are some key elements that are really important. Hey, I also want to say it's Groundhog's Day, so I just want to say I think it's a good day to start today.
I think it is too.
I think it's a good day to start today. Whether the groundhog sees the shadow or not, it's a good day to start a new day for yourself. It's early in the morning, and your next meal might be coming right up. Well, let's make some good, healthy options today.
And it's a good day to start the day off and be thankful for something right out of the gate.
That's right.
Because that changes your whole day.
Yes,
really
it does. Yes, it does. So, you'd like to say a couple things. Don't forget to drink your water. Get your water in today, and get a walk in. It's good for your heart. It's good for your health. You could, if you feel like it's just way too cold outside for you, you've got a Stairmaster. Use those stairs in your house. Master them 2 or 3 steps up, 2 or 3 steps down. It's good for your heart. It's good for your health. This is Rita Hubbard Robinson. This is Millennium Health Matters Radio Show. I'm here with Tim Kaufman, who's a teacher over in Williamsville. And we're just glad to have him here with us today. And we're glad you've tuned in to our new time at 7 a.m. every Saturday. Again, we hope to see you this time next week. See you soon. This is where your health matters to us.